T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Hello everybody, welcome to Elite Wine TV. I'm your host Mark Fusco here for another episode of the show. And this is the last of this group of restaurant wines. And so we're going to go ahead and go right into it. This is the 2007 Estancia Meritage from Paso Robles. And this is, oh, they actually have it on the label. I didn't notice that. 2184 from Specs. In the restaurant, or in a restaurant, it'll retail, or not retail, it will sell for between $55 and $65 a bottle. Again, these ranges are approximate. They could be a little bit more, a little bit less, but you should be right around that range. And about the same amount of money, you know, in that, I don't know, $18 to $22, $19 to $22 range. For what the restaurant paid for it. Again, to prove the point, 7 wines in a row, the retail price at or the price that I paid at retail is about what the restaurant's going to pay for this. If you buy it online, and Hartwick and Grove is the wine merchant that sells these, it's $35 a bottle for this exact thing. Okay, sorry, Estancia Reserve. It's not just Estancia. Estancia Reserve. We'll talk about what a Meritage is in just a minute, but let's go ahead and get right into the wine. Remember Paso Robles? We had another Paso Robles wine earlier, well, a few episodes ago. The most different of all the bouquets so far. It's really got like an aroma that I just can't pinpoint. But I can definitely smell a little bit of alcohol in it. I'm going to say it smells a little bit candified. Not quite medicinal, but a little bit candified. Smells more like raspberries and cherries. So, yeah. Not bad, just not what I was expecting. Starting to calm down a little bit. I don't get that well, it wasn't really medicinal. Eucalyptus. There we go. Something like that. All right, let's taste it. See how it tastes. Wow. There is a lot going on with this. I don't know where to begin. First, tannins. We'll just go tannins. Man, this is big. By the way, this is the wines the list I based all these wines off of. This is what's going to be considered the most full-bodied of all the wines, and it is. It's also, well, it's the most tannic of all the wines. Because once you get past the tannins, it doesn't feel as full-bodied. But man, tannins are killer. This is tasty. I like this one. I've said that 7 times in a row. I like this one. But I do. I really like this one. It's pretty decent. I'm going to say, though, I get... This is going to be the one little negative I'm going to have from it. After getting hit with all the tannins and getting all these flavors, the finish is not that good. It disappears. It feels watery at the finish. But all the flavors, I think, work really well, but it feels like it's kind of like a flavored drink at the end, a flavored water drink at the end. I mean, I get a bunch of cherries, like really, really just up front, in your face type of cherries. A cherry pie feel to it. I get kind of a little bakery, a little bit of cream. I mean, it's cherries for days. And you definitely need to eat this. You need to eat food with this. This is not... Now, the last wine was pretty full body, but I could drink it on its own. This one, you need to dig in some cheese. You need to get some steak. Maybe put some blue cheese on the steak. Yeah. Some good sauces would go well with it, on the steak. Pot roast, a nice fatty, a nice meat that's kind of fatty, has a lot of fat to it. Pot roast, totally. Prime rib, pot roast, rib eyes. Stuff that's going to be able to take up those tannins. Definitely. And get a little bit of spice, a little bit of pepper to it. It's a nice complex wine. It's got a lot going on. The only thing that concerns me is it feels like it's got a lot going on. So it might be not focused. So that's gonna drop it for me personally under 90 points. It kind of is like, somebody that's just got so many things happening at the same time, and they want to do everything at the same time. They want to use every single color in the 64 color Crayola box with 128 color Crayola box. They want to use all of them at the same time and go woo, not like, hey man, let's concentrate on a few things over here. So I'm gonna go with 88 points on this. It's definitely great. All right, great. It's definitely a good wine. It's got a lot of things to appeal to a lot of people. You have to get some food with it. All I can think about pot roast, to be honest. But yes, Estancia. Let's go over the Estancia real quick. They've been around for a little while. The gentleman who bought it, he bought the former Paul Masson vineyards in 1986. So he bought that. He's been around, making wine from this estate. And Estancia kind of means estate. Okay. It's loosely translated to estate, so it's estate wine. But definitely good stuff. Other thing, Meritage. It is pronounced Meritage, not Meritage. It is not a French word. It is the words merit and heritage put together. Now, to be called a Meritage wine, one, you have to be a member of the Meritage Association. Actually, the Meritage something. I did look it up because I knew they had changed a few things. The Meritage Association. They were called something else prior to that. The Meritage Alliance. It changed to Meritage Alliance, so it's called the Meritage Association. but they changed it to the Alliance a couple years ago. But you have to use Bordeaux, typical Bordeaux grapes, and it's a blend. This particular blend is 61% Cabernet Sauvignon, 27% Merlot, and 12% Petit Verdot. So those are three varietals that are typically present in a Bordeaux blend. Because remember, Bordeaux's, while they might be Cabernet Sauvignon based or Merlot based, they're not a single varietal wine, nor do they typically have more than 75% of any varietal. That doesn't mean it can't. I mean, there are some single varietal Bordeaux's out there, or Bordeaux's that have like 90% of Merlot or Cabernet Sauvignon. It's also you have to have Cabernet Franc, and it could also have Carmenere, not Carmenere. There's no tilde over the N, but Carmenere, which I learned that only about a year ago at the Texas Sommeliers Conference, because somebody was making a big deal about. Actually, it was during my introductory exam, making a big deal. It's like there's no tilde over the N. It's not Nier, it's Nair. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So we're going to talk about pronunciations. There's another one. Anyway, so for red wines, it has to do that. For white, it has to have Semillon, Sauvignon Blanc, and then Muscadel de Bordelais. So it has to have at least two of those, just like the red has to have at least two of them to be count as a Meritage. The other thing about the Meritage Alliance is that they say that if you're going to put Meritage on there, well, one, you have to pay a fee to the Alliance, but two, they want to make sure it's your best blend that you're going to put the Meritage name on there, because they want a certain quality level, and they did this because they wanted to create these wines and kind of label it a certain way, but because you have to have the 75% rule, they couldn't do it. It's kind of like America's answer to the Super Tuscan, if that makes any sense. If you can find it, well, I'm sure you can find it. It's not hard to find this one. $22 for a bottle. It's really good. I think really, really good for $20. If you can get over, the finish for me wasn't the best, but there's all this cool stuff going on, and that's why it's like it's intriguing. But if it could focus a little more, I think it'd be better. Definitely seek it out, find it, buy it, drink it, love it, put it with some great food, and that's going to do it for today's show. It's been great to do all these wines in one sitting instead of doing it over, this day, that day, that day. That way, I can see the transition of the wines. I'll be getting more wines, more typical wine list wines, in a few weeks. Or in a couple weeks, and probably do the same thing, maybe not do 7 in one sitting, but do this again. I've got some other wines I want to take care of with some HEB stuff, and that's going to do it. We'll see everybody again next time.